answer to Alex Hormozi's apathy problem is written all over his face. Why is it that Alex has had chronic inability to breathe through his nose? Why is it that Alex has this inclination to operationalize everything, to forcibly frame everything in explicit terms? Why is it that when Tony Robbins says something like, get out of your head and into your body or into your heart, that there is a follow-up question of like, what does that mean? What do you mean by that? Rather than having an innate or native understanding of what that means. I don't think it's likely that the apathy that Alex experiences is a matter of software, meaning I don't think that Alex has a problem in how he's using his mind. He's brilliant, he's sharp, he's smart enough. There are multiple reasons to believe that it is a hardware problem. If you take a normal or normative person, no apathy, right? Feels meaning, feels engagement, and you induce cytokine activation in the brain, you induce apathy. You create a hollow void where meaning should be. And one of the things that you also see with cytokine activation is impact on breathing through the nose. It's a documented phenomenon. So maybe Alex will be able to solve his apathy problem by having a kid and achieving his goal of helping however many people reach 100 grand. That would be amazing if that works and just like, bam, like apathy's gone. But if not, maybe look at getting a spinal tap to look at cytokine levels. So that's interleukins, I think 1, 4, 6, and 11, some smattering of those. Tumor necrosis factor alpha. And then looking at other inflammatory markers. Another thing to look at. So in the first 3 years of development, typically the primary attachment figure is the mom. And in these first 3 years, the mother engages with right brain to right brain development. So I don't know, what Alex's mom was doing in that period of time, but if in those 3 years she did not have enough in terms of safety and a regulated nervous system, and if she wasn't present or around for those first 3 years and through other years in childhood, that would lead to an underdeveloped right hemisphere. And to be a little less vague here, I'm talking about the attachment axis. So that's the temporal parietal junction and the orbitofrontal, the right orbitofrontal prefrontal cortex, which is the executive regulator of the right hemisphere. The left dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is the executive regulator in the left. But that right hemisphere attachment axis, that is what brings online elements of self and connection to meaning, which I could talk about. I won't right now, but that would be another major contributing factor here in terms of the hardware of apathy versus meaning. So, that piece with Alex's mom, and then looking at what happens with someone like Alex's dad reinforcing a certain orientation for Alex's entire life. This makes sense neurobiologically in terms of development. So, okay, I'll probably clip this shorter because I've gone on long enough, but yes. So what is it that might remediate Alex's apathy problem? 1, first test, monitor. We don't need to do guesswork. But let's look at the hardware. So that might look like a spinal tap to measure these cytokine levels. There are also other imaging tools that could be used to see what the right hemisphere tonality looks like. So that's the first piece, is to test, to look under the hood. The second piece is to modify, to change the function of the system. So that could be the introduction of things that modulate that immune response in the brain. And we can talk about what that looks like if anyone watches this. There's also focal neuromodulation that could be used to bring online those elements or those systems in the right hemisphere's executive and attachment circuits. So there you have it. To the three of you who have watched, thank you for watching. To point you to the smart people. I'm not the smart people. I just read them. So 5 people that maybe 5 that I would point to. Dr. Alan Shore, his work on right brain psychotherapy and right brain to right brain synchrony. Alan Shore, I think he's been on a few different podcasts, Huberman, and a few others. I would look at as well Dr. Stephen Porges, his work in polyvagal theory, the hardware of the social engagement system. So that's all of this, and then that networks in to the right hemisphere in a powerful way. So Stephen Porges, I may also point you to Dr. Daniel Siegel, who led the founding of the field of interpersonal neurobiology. Brilliant guy. Dr. Robert Sapolsky, probably out of Stanford, probably has some things to say as well on some of that with cytokine activation and apathy. He's got some great videos on YouTube. You can watch it for free. And then the last that I would recommend is probably Dr. Ian McGilchrist, whose work has largely been on the specialized functions and differentiated functions of the right hemisphere versus the right. So those are the 5 smart people I will point you to. Bonus round, Jaak Panksepp. God rest his soul. Peace be upon him. Okay, I'll leave it there. I hope that something of this makes its way to Alex at some point. He's brilliant. I have gotten so much value out of what he brings into the world. And I really would love if he could find some solutions to this apathy problem. Because, man, he shows up and is so useful to humanity. So, okay, I'll end it there.